My name is Cami Christensen, and I live on the north end of town here. I've probably been here since 92, and it still isn't my house. I still live in Eldon's house, so. I wish Eldon would start making the payments. But I get to play on the ambulance, and I absolutely love it. That is my adrenaline fix, and I get to teach at a high school, and that's my that's my nut fix. Bless their hearts. But at the high school, I have the severely handicapped, and I teach an EMT class. So I was just telling him next year I get to go to Manti and start teaching there, and maybe Juab. So I'll start moving around.
Mainly the EMT class, all of us.
I just started a new position. I'm not actually teaching special education anymore. As of last Friday, I'm strictly CTE, which is career and technical education for the teenagers for the high school. And I teach transition skills for IEP kids, trying to prepare them to go out into the real world. You know, resume skills and how to fill out an application and all those things. So anyway, I love what I do. And doing these kind of things, just coming and talking, is just the cherry on top. I absolutely love teaching and just answering questions and helping people know what to do. Accidents or whatever you want to call them, bad things, are scary. And they're not only scary for the patient, and I think that's why I love it so much, is I get to be there for them at their worst time. And for some reason, I love that. I love the fact that if it's a teenager, my crew lets me just be mom number 2 until their parents get there. And it's a good thing. And so when it was the mayor that called me and asked if I knew of anyone that would be willing to come talk about what to do if you were the first one on a scene, if you watched something happen, what to do until the ambulance got there, which is when I get to kick in. And I love that idea. I would much rather have somebody there with the patient, with somebody that's struggling until we can get there. And in a situation that will be beneficial to everybody. There's nothing worse than stressing that, did I do the right thing? Did I do enough? Did I? And I do that with every call. I go home and I second guess myself quite a bit. So I understand it. So I just have some things that I'd like to go over, and then if you guys have questions, I am more than happy to go over anything if I left something out. CPR is a totally different ball of wax if we're gonna go through the whole training, and we don't have that kind of time tonight. And to do that, it's like a 4 to 5 hour class. So we're gonna, I've been in Stampede too long. We're going to just talk about hands only. And when somebody is having a heart attack or has gone unresponsive and not breathing, we need to help them breathe and need to help that the oxygen in the blood keep flowing through their body. So that's what the compressions do. I will tell you, and the older we get, the worse it gets. I feel like I hit it. As our bones start getting more brittle, when you start compressions, you will break bones. I don't think there's a more horrid sound or feeling in my life. I make our paramedics do it first and then I'll kick in, because I'm a wuss with that. It's really hard. Babies, they're still so pliable. They're fine. But you start, who is our mayor? Monette?
Monette.
He had trouble in the parade at Mount Pleasant. And I went and visited him in the hospital, and the first thing out of his mouth is, "You broke my ribs." I said, "You're welcome." Ribs heal. So just know that something, if you're doing it correctly, you will break ribs. But like I said, ribs heal. So when you're doing, I was really hoping I'd have one of my kiddos from school here. Make sure, especially if you witness it, the number one thing we need, especially with the ambulance, is times when they went down. Did you witness it or did you come on it? That's different if you just came on it and we don't know how long they'd been down. We go straight to meds. We go straight to different medications. If you know a time and you're keeping track of time, I absolutely love it when I go on a scene and somebody that is there has been taking notes of everything that happened, and they just hand it to me and say, "This is when it started, this is what we did, and that is almost more help than almost anything, so we know. And if you don't know or you're uncomfortable, take the notes, write it down. Don't do anything you're not comfortable doing. That's kind of why they made the hands only, because mouth to mouth is a little tough. I would have no problem. I think the only ones I could do it on would be my kids and my grandkids, and I do my grandkids before I would do my kids. That's why you don't kill your kids, because of the grandkids. But I don't know who's been with me before. These are amazing. They are masks to breathe through. When somebody has passed out and gone unresponsive and you start doing CPR, if we're lucky enough to get them back, when they're coming back, a lot of times they'll throw up. Just thinking about it sends me over. So these have a one-way valve. So if they throw up, it's on them, not on me. So, which is much safer. And you just put it there if you know what you're doing. These are awesome. I don't even hesitate doing CPR when I have a mask. So they're only like $5 on Amazon. I have one in every vehicle. I have one in my house, one in the classroom, one in the office, you name it. These are amazing. So if you know what you're doing, those are great. If not, make sure they're on a hard surface. It's almost next to impossible to do compressions efficiently when they're on a bed or on a couch or on pillows. You can't get the motion that you need. And clear the chest. Shears are my best friend. I start at the bottom. Or shirts, button-down shirts, I just yank it open so I have a bare chest. And that helps because when the ambulance gets there, especially if they have a bra on, I'd rather save their life than it's a body. To me, my students have heart failure the first call. I was like, oh, dude, you're gonna get used to it. You're there to fix them. You're not there to do anything else. You're just there to help them. So open that shirt and you start compressions. Pay attention to what time you start compressions, okay? And when you do it, I can't get down on the ground because then I can't get up. You're gonna lock your arms so your elbows are straight, not this one. And you're gonna use the heel of your hand when you do it. You don't, when you go down, I don't know if you can see the green lights. There's lights right there. As long as that's the rate that you go. There's lots of songs. And when you get tired, when I get tired, I start singing the songs. The newest one is Baby Shark, and that's not a good one to start. But it gets really tiring, so to keep the pace, somebody else counts for me and I start singing. They know as soon as I start singing, I'm getting tired, and they start counting for me. It's 30, yeah.
Do you change off?
If I have someone else there, yeah. I've been in the back of the rig and I had to do compressions from Skyline all the way down to the hospital. That's a long time to be doing compressions. It's tiring. Just a cycle is 2 minutes, and it's 2 breaths, 30 compressions, 2 breaths, 30 compressions 5 times. And that should take about 2 minutes.
Wait, say that again.
30 compressions, 2 breaths, 30 compressions, 2 breaths 5 times should take about 2 minutes. You are not to be off the chest more than 10 seconds. If they were choking and they went down, if they're choking on something and they went down, when you do compressions, you're like imitating a cough. You're forcing that air into the lungs to hopefully get something up. It's the same as the Heimlich. You know, you're behind them, you try and get it up, and if they go down, then you go to compressions. So after the 30 compressions, you check the airway. You tilt the head back, you check. If you don't see anything, go back to 30 compressions. Don't ever do a blind sweep. Don't go searching for something. I did it on my granddaughter, and I sent it farther down. So don't ever do a blind sweep. But the compressions will keep the blood flowing and the oxygen going until we can get there. It's, like I said, it's very tiring, and it's not fun. But I think of all I've been an EMT for 15 years. Yeah, wow. I think I've gotten 3 back.
Out of how many? Who knows? Oh, you're not gonna tell me.
I don't know. I probably do CPR every other month, but maybe more, maybe less, on an average, maybe. The cool thing now is we have Lucas now, and it's a great big machine. So just so you also know what it is, if we ever have to come and, you see us working, it's a great big machine. It's a board that goes under the patient, and it's got a great big arm that comes over and clamps down on one side. And it's a plunger, basically. It's a great big hydraulic that does the compressions for us. It keeps the perfect pace, and that frees us up to do the medication and do the airway and do the clear the airway. Sorry, my brain just went blank. So, but it's pretty rough looking. Yeah.
So can you rewind it? So when you see someone go down, then what? You don't just start compressions or whatever.
If they're unresponsive and no breaths, you start compressions.
Okay, so you check for no breath,
no breath, unresponsive, you just start compressions.
So what if you had an AED?
An AED, if you have, hey sweetie, hey, somebody to show you how to do compressions. An AED is for, you can get it there. if you know how to use it, they're pretty, my kids call them coach proof. Anyone can run them because they tell you what to do. And they have the pictures on them to show you where to put them. So this one's going to go on the shoulder. And this one's going to go down on the side, down here. Now, if there's somebody little and you're worried about it because they can't be next to each other, they've got to be far enough apart. You can put them front and back. If all you have are adult pads and you have an infant or a little person, front and back is where you put them. Don't ever cut them to try and make them smaller. We learned that the hard way. And you literally follow the prompt.
Apply pads, analyzing heart rhythm.
I should have put the pads on. So you put the pads on.
Do not touch the patient.
Clear?
Shock advised.
Okay. We go right back
Charging.
until it says ready. I would be doing compressions
Stay
right now.
clear of patient.
And I'm still doing it.
Deliver shock now.
As soon
Press
as
the
it says
orange
deliver
button
shock,
now.
I clear, I make sure everyone clears, I push the button.
Shock
As
delivered.
soon as that shock is delivered, I can go back to
Begin
compressions.
CPR.
Oh,
So after you apply the AED, you go back and check for pulse?
it will do it for you.
Okay, so you don't always have to go back to compressions if it,
If it says, it will tell you resume compressions or shock advised, rhythm, how does it put it? Rhythm, okay, or something. Or resume compressions. So sometimes you will hear, they're called agonal breaths. And I have several people a lot of the times will think, oh, they're breathing. That's the body's last ditch effort to pull every ounce of air out that it can. And it's, that's not a normal breath. But I have family members like, they're breathing, keep going, keep going. And it's, oh, okay, I'll keep going, but that's not a breath. So, and the rhythm will know. But you've got to make sure you're not touching them because it will read your rhythm instead of what they need to have. So if you are using an AED, make sure you leave it on after it says shock advised, you give the first shock, you go back, it will have a metronome. It gets obnoxious after a while, but it keeps the pace for you. So that is a good thing. And if the patient comes back, which it's happened, I roll them on their side away from me and let them throw up and we take off with them. If they throw up in the mask, we suction out the mouth. You guys don't have that. That's why rolling them on their side is probably the best thing to do. But do you want to show them compressions? Do you mind? This is Shannon. She's one of my favorite students.
Hey everyone.
Hi, Shannon.
You gather around.
So when, just say breath, breath. Don't worry about actually, unless you want the mask. Do you want the mask?
No.
Okay.
Do
Okay.
you want me to do it with the AED?
Yeah. So she's gonna go through. Are you okay? Because you always gotta check. They could be sleeping, and I've had it. We thought they were down for the count, and he was sound asleep. And I've also had a guy that was faking it. I'll tell you about the pads after. So she's gonna check him.
Okay.
She is going to
See,
ask. No, you ask somebody And don't just say somebody call 911 and somebody get an AED. You have to call them by name. Cami, call 911. Or look at them. You go get the AED machine. Don't just assume that someone's going to do it, because I guarantee you everybody else will be this with their phone videoing all the time. Okay, so I'll tell you when the AED machine's here.
So,
Don't actually, just,
are you okay? Are you okay? Somebody, go get 911. Somebody, be on breath. Somebody.
even though I said don't say somebody.
Oh, you do this, you do that.
Okay,
You do this.
okay.
Then put the pads on.
And,
Oh, I turn it on and then do pads.
but you've got to be doing compressions.
Analyzing heart rhythm.
2 green.
Do not touch the patient.
She's going to keep going until it charges.
Shock advised.
Oh, 1, 2,
Charging.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Stay
8,
clear of
9.
patient.
Okay,
Clear.
clear.
Deliver shock now. Press the orange button.
And then
Shock
she goes
delivered.
right back to compressions.
1, 2, 3.
Begin
4, 5,
CPR.
6, 7, 8.
These AEDs are so slow. You can go ahead and turn it off, sweetie. They, real AEDs don't wait that long. It seems like forever to me. These drive me nuts. But
So this didn't really shock, it just protected.
these are trainers.
Okay.
These are trainers. So, yeah, that would stink. Because I tease kids all the time that it's going to shock them. I just forgot what I was going to say.
So, but we, coming up on an accident, will not have anything like that.
No,
And that's-
no. So if you're the first on a car accident, you've got to be very careful. If they're already out of the vehicle, that's one thing. If they're thrown, if they're already out of the vehicle, that's one thing. If they are in the vehicle and a car accident, you have to be very careful with head and neck injuries. That is probably our biggest concern when we go on a car accident. If we go on a car accident, I usually send one of my EMTs to go in the back seat to hold the neck. Keep that C-spine straight until we can get a collar on them.
But if we were to come up on an accident, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't move them out of the car
No,
unless there's
you should not move them out of the car. So it's either calming them down. There's more car accidents where they're hurt on the inside. And I'll tell you, it does more good to keep them calm, keep them breathing. All the time, kids at the high school, someone's hurt, we have an accident, we practice breathing together, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and we do it together.
So that you would practice with them?
Yes, I do it with them. It calms them down. It helps their blood pressure. It helps the bleeding. The bleeding slows down. Everything just it's not going to save them. But if we can keep them from panicking, do it. So if you're alone, just keeping them calm is going to be the best. If they are unresponsive in the car, you're going to leave them there. You're going to call 911. I've got an unresponsive male, approximately 45 years old. I'm here. You give them the address and you ask them what they want you to do. And sometimes they'll say, can you get them out? No, I can't get them out. If the seatbelt is locked, it's hard to just leave somebody.
So if it's gonna be, they're more in danger in the car with.
And that's why
explosion or
let
something.
dispatch tell you to pull them. And they will ask you all the questions. Was it a head-on? The intrusion on a vehicle is huge. We have to show the doctors a picture of the car accident so they know how hard the hit was. So they know what injuries are there. So, and then we have to dispose of them. But again, with something like that time, I watched this car accident. It started at 6:32. 2 vehicles, there's 4 patients. And by you telling dispatch what you saw and how many patients, that's how many ambulances we will send. If it's multiple people, if it's just 1 or 2, they'll probably just send 1 ambulance at first. But if there's multiple, 500 or Mount Pleasant ambulance will usually roll first, and then we will start calling the other rigs. And we've called from Ephraim and Manti before to get people here because of so many patients.
So just to clarify,
Mhm.
somebody's in an accident, they're in the vehicle, and you're not to move them no matter what, don't move them. No matter how serious of an accident, or, how.
You could run the risk of paralyzing them.
Right. Because that's not what I have done
Well,
before.
the car's on fire.
Now, if the car's on fire and you're on with dispatch, the car's on fire, can I pull the patient out? Or, if it's bad, yeah, you pull it. You've just got to be smart. You don't want to just, I've been on an accident down here at Straits Junction. I think it was a deer. They hit a deer. They were just sore, but it was their neck, and the person that saw it all happen was pulling them out. And it was like there was no, the injury was not going to happen from them being in the car. The guy ended up getting his feeling back, but he couldn't move for quite a while. I don't ever want to be the cause of that. So if you don't have to move them, don't move them. But if there's a fire or something, I'd rather have them alive than.
Because number one, you want to get them out, and that's what your natural tendency is, to get them out of the car.
Yeah, it is. It is. But when I roll up on a scene, the first thing I do, like I said, I have somebody get in the back seat, hold their neck till I can get a collar on them. We get a backboard underneath them, and we pull them out that way. So.
We don't have that in our cars just coming in. Okay, what if they're outside the car? What if someone's outside the car now?
Sit them down. When somebody is stressed or upset, they start pacing. They just keep moving. And I think it's our adrenaline. Adrenaline it hasn't hit them yet how much they hurt. So they're up and moving and stressed and walking around. Sit them down. Sit down with them, talk to them, remind them to breathe, remind them, and find out what hurts. If you watched a car accident and you stopped and they were out walking, you sat down with them and I pulled up, Cami, the car accident happened about 10 minutes ago. I've been sitting here with them. Even if they pass out, just make sure they're breathing, make sure their airway is open is what you need to do. Because once their adrenaline kicks in or is done kicking in, that's when they tend to faint, that's when they tend to go unconscious, because everything catches up with them. So if they pass out, you can roll them on their side, make sure the airway stays open. When we're laying there and we're like this, our airway is not open as it should be. So will you pick him up for me?
Yes, ma'am.
If you're worried about the spine, you're going to leave the spine and put under the chin and lift to open the airway. You're not doing, you're not moving the head, you're just lifting the chin up. If you're worried about the spine. If you're not worried about the spine, you can head tilt, chin lift, and just make sure that airway stays open.
But roll them on their side or not roll them?
If they're breathing, I'd roll them on their side. If they're not breathing, then you've got to keep the airway open.
Do you want me to show them with the mask? Show them the mask.
We're not doing complete CPR though. That's
Yeah, if we come upon a scene, this is
Yeah.
just for very unprofessional.
So, and again, most of the time it's just gonna be keeping them calm, keeping you calm. You get to go home later and fall apart and cry, which I do regularly. I'm fine until I'm driving home. I think that's when I miss my mom the most. I used to call her on the way home of every call, just to calm down and be
You can
okay.
call me,
Okay.
I'm serious.
I
As a med tech, I
It's-
know what you're talking about.
it's hard. I do. Her phone number's still in my phone just because of that. Keeping him calm is going to be number one. And they're not gonna stay calm if you're not calm. Be sure that when the ambulance does get there, you give them all the information you have. When you're talking to them, get their name. Where are you from? Who's, the more you talk to them, find out, oh, they have 5 kids, they're from, and when you're talking about those things, then you find out, oh, they're from Wales, and they're on their way to see their family. We usually let dispatch know that somebody's waiting for them, at this place, and we try and help that along so somebody isn't panicking when they don't show up. It's just some information that you guys, when you're talking to them, find out. The police usually get there before we do. You can give them the information. They want you to give them the information, but you're still gonna give it to us when we get there. A lot of times, if you have them calm down, they will let you stay with them. Most of the time. We have some egos sometimes, just saying. Don't record.
Too late.
No, I think the thing they try and avoid the most is just getting in the way. And I have never had an issue. Even I was in Vegas with the concert when there was a shooting. And there were a lot of CERT people there. And as soon as we showed up, no one got in my way. They let me do, what can I do to help? And if I was trying to do something, they would stay out of the way, which is amazing. But I've heard of people that wouldn't move or get out of the way, and it just delayed care. So, even when our paramedics show up, I'm an advanced. So there's basic, there's EMR, there's basic, there's advanced, which is me, and then paramedics. When a paramedic shows up, they become the boss of the scene. Until they're there, the advanced is over the scene. So as soon as the paramedic gets there, I give my report, and if they're doing something and don't need me, I back up. I wait until I'm told, or if I see something, I don't wait to be told what to do. But they are ultimately responsible for that scene. So directing traffic is huge. I definitely do now. Before I was an EMT, I always traveled with a yellow vest in my car because I traveled back and forth to Vegas all the time. There were always car accidents. I'd put on my vest and I'd control traffic until the cops got there. If it's a bad enough car accident, they also call fire. Fire trucks will block the road. So it just depends on who gets there first and who's called.
So part of scene safety then might be good, but it's because most of us are CERT trained,
And you guys have the green vest, don't you, with the reflective?
kind of greenish yellow.
Yeah,
Who's not CERT trained that's in this room?
I am.
Yeah, well, I mean, who's not CERT
Oh.
trained? Kathy, are you CERT trained?
I had EMT training twice, but I don't know what that means, cert, I guess I'm not.
EMT training, bless your heart.
Yeah. Okay, so so many of us probably have a vest, maybe we should just keep that in the car.
I would just, especially at night, you need to be seen. We tell our students all the time, and your safety comes first before the patient. My safety comes first. My crew, it's me, my crew, then the patient.
When you come up on a car accident, where do you park your car so you don't interfere with where the ambulance should be?
Good question.
I usually go around because a lot of times I drive directly to scene. I don't go to the rig in Mount Pleasant. I go straight to scene. I go in front of the accident, off the side, down, in. But I also drive a truck, so I can go down into the... You just have to get ahead of it because the ambulance will come behind and put the back of the rig close to the patient as they can, and then turn around and go back. So just wherever, like if you're at Straits Junction, go off the side somewhere and just get out of the way. Because guaranteed, car accidents in this place, when I hit a buffalo out at Gravel Pit Road.
Bless your heart.
I know. 12 officers showed up. 12. Fountain Green, Manti, they were all showing up. I called dispatch and I said, "This is Cami with 500. What happened?" "I hit something on the road." "What'd you hit?" "A buffalo." "No, Cami, we have really large elk here." "I know, this is a buffalo." "No, Cami, they can be really large." I may teach special ed, but I know what a buffalo is, and it's a buffalo. Everybody showed up.
They weren't looking for you, they were looking for
No, they were
buffalo.
looking for the buffalo. And then the guy whose buffalo it was, when all the cops were over there talking, he came behind, picked it up, and took it off. "Where'd the buffalo go?" "Oh, it woke up and left." So, yeah, it was, anyway, sorry. Everybody shows up with car accidents, especially if a child is involved. And that's sometimes when it gets hard. If there's a kid in the car, that's when, if it's safe to climb in and hang out with the kid, keep the kids calm. Moms or dads can handle it so much better when their little one isn't screaming. I love screaming and crying because that means their airway is open. So I love it when I hear the tears. On 900 North, well, is it 900 anymore? 950?
Here in town?
Yeah, the church road, whatever that dirt road is.
1500, I don't know.
I think it's 900.
Is it?
Both.
I know it used to be. Anyway, up farther before all the homes started showing up, a car hit a telephone pole or a power pole and knocked the power pole down. You cannot go to the vehicle until that power is turned off. But there was a baby in the car screaming. So one of my EMTs, brand new, was going to save that baby and started jumping lines. You never jump lines. You have to stay connected. Something has to stay connected. She was jumping. Oh my gosh. Our safety comes first. We had to wait for Spring City to come, cut the power, and then we could go take care of everything. So, and I also learned a long time ago, one of my very first calls, I was out on the flats up just north of Fountain Green before you go into the canyon. And it was before they did all the construction. A lady, I think she fell asleep, she hit another car, and she was unconscious. All the windows were down. And we got so tunnel vision taking care of her that while we were loading her into the ambulance, she says, "Where's my baby?" We all froze. Looked at each other like, "Did you see?" The baby was out in the field, upright in the car seat. She hadn't strapped the car seat. She strapped the baby in the car seat, but didn't strap the car seat into the car. The baby was out in the field, sitting up with horses surrounding him.
Very happy.
Very happy. But it scared the daylights out of us.
Yeah.
We got so focused on that patient that we forgot to check anything else. And that we do that a lot. We have to be careful not to get so focused on, you know, oh man, my arm hurts, and, you know, you're trying to help them, you know, splint the arm so it doesn't move, that you don't notice the bone sticking out of the leg. And it happens. You get so focused on what they're complaining about that once you get something taken care of, if you stop the bleed, the only way to stop a bleed is pressure. Carry gloves in your vehicle, please. Again, my grandkids' blood, I don't mind touching, but that's about it. But you put pressure on. If you don't have anything, use a coat, use a pillowcase, use a blanket, whatever you have to. And you hold it down for a minute, or have them hold it while you're putting your gloves on. You put something on it, have them hold it, you put your gloves on. Don't ever lift anything to check it to see if it has stopped. Because the only thing you do is reopen every capillary that our bodies are amazing. They instantly start to heal. They instantly start to scab, clot. And so when you lift that, it pulls off all those little scabs. So it'll start all over. So you're just piling. I've had 4x4s that high before, trying to get the bleeding to stop. Once it has stopped, you tie a bandage around it to hold it down. If the knot, like if you're cut here, you have the bandage, you have the 2x2s, the 4x4s, whatever you have, stacked on top. You tie something over it, a tie, a belt, whatever you have to, and put the knot or the buckle on top, because that puts more pressure on the wound, okay? Yeah, there's something about wanting to see. If it doesn't stop, that's when we tourniquet. I'd be very careful. Tourniquet anything, unless it's an amputation, or I hate being on appendage patrol. I walked into the ER carrying an arm one time because I was on appendage patrol. So, of course we had to put the tourniquet on the arm, but once that tourniquet goes on, it cannot come off except from the hospital. So if you put one on and you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have, and you take it off, you're liable for that. So don't. If you put it on, it stays on until they get to the hospital. But there are times, hopefully we never have to see it. You never have to see it. But yeah.
I've been hearing commercials for trauma kits, and one thing they really talk about is Israeli bandages.
Yes.
So is that something you carry and that we should train on?
Which one are you talking?
I
you
look up
talking
Israeli
about
bandages,
the-
and it comes in a package. And
You
I've never
shove it
opened one.
in?
No, it's like I think it's a bandage that goes over, but then it has something that does another pressure on.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
You can do those. They also have the bandages that have the medication on them, and you just shove them in the wound.
Yeah. No, that's not what
Those
I
are
was talking
awesome
about.
too. I love those things, especially with a big gut wound.
Yeah, and then there's a chest seal or chest.
Chest seal.
Like I said, they're
what are they
really
called?
advertising.
The three
trauma
occlusive
kits.
dressing. Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody has a chest wound and you can hear it like sucking, it's called a sucking chest wound, go figure. And you can hear it. It's breathing through not through the skin, but through the wound. You can hear him taking the breath. You never want to put a dressing on it and tape up all the sides. one of the sides has to stay open so some air can come out. Infection kicks in, it needs to be able to breathe, so don't ever tape it on all 4 sides. If their chest is that bad and you can hear it, you will know. If you ever hear it, you'll say, oh, that's what Cami was talking about. Sucking chest wound. Yeah, that's an occlusive dressing that goes on the chest. They also have, there are so many that the military use. I go to shows like up in Salt Lake, and I'll buy them expired. I don't care. I really don't. They sell them at these, like the gun shows or whatever. I buy all that I can, and I keep them. They're awesome. So there's the bandages that have the medication on it. There's the ones that put the pressure, wherever you need it. It's pretty cool. So I kind of like those shows. Yeah.
Okay, concerning keeping the area safe, besides you wearing a vest so you can traffic, would it be good to have flares to put them out a certain way so people realize, hey, there's something going on here where you need to slow down? Is that something?
I've never done that.
Okay.
I've never. With my luck, I'd start the field on fire.
Yep, well, yeah.
I've never done that. The ambulance has never done it either. So,
It's 'cause
Keep-
of lights.
that's true. We have the big woo-woos.
So carry a light. Flash you.
Yeah.
So we
I have one in my truck.
So we've kind of covered coming upon a car accident, coming upon maybe electrical,
Mhm.
you don't wanna go across lines. What other things would, just people coming across an accident, doesn't have to be
Maybe
in a
like
car.
water accident.
Make sure that if there's if you need to call the water company, if there's a water break, because cars hit those things and they go sliding. Make sure that the utilities are called, or when you call dispatch, there's a broken water main, cars are sliding all over. If you're at a pool and somebody has a heart attack or something happens, especially with an AED, if you start chest compressions, you go get an AED, you call 911. As soon as that AED gets there and you've pulled them out of the water, just wipe their chest fast. You don't have to air dry it. Just get the bulk of the water off, and then you can put the pads on. Oh, I was going to tell you about the pads. If you put pads on, the guy that was faking it with me needed attention. I put the pads on him. They didn't stick because he had so much hair on front and back, and I knew he was faking it. And so did my partner. And she looked at me and she goes, "Put the pads on." I said, "Okay." I put the pads on, and if you pull really fast, his eyes went flying open. He was suddenly okay. So, yeah.
Pulling the hair off.
Oh, every bit of hair. But then you can put the other set of pads on, So sometimes we have to do that, but with him I did it on purpose. So, yeah, that's my...
Why
Are
would
you
you put an
remembering
AED?
you're being recorded?
So why would you put an AED on him if his heart was still going?
Because we were just trying to get him to...
Because he was faking it.
So you knew he was faking.
Oh, yeah. I was not going to turn it on. I was hoping that if
I would have turned it on.
I've had it where I had a patient down. It was a kid. The police officer would not let that kid go. Would not let him go. Said, "Clear patient." I said, "Clear." That cop would not. I shocked the cop too. But he let him go after that. So, a pool. What else?
Have you done the choking back yet?
No.
Are you doing that?
The Heimlich, these are so fun. I have them for
They're
my kiddos.
so fun.
And it's just so you can kind of see. Heimlich is not easy to do. And reaching around somebody is, it can be difficult, especially if you're little or they're big or, you know, you get somebody this tall and you get somebody as tall as you. It's hard for them to do it. So, but you got to figure it out. I walked in a restaurant one time and a lady had pulled over a chair so she could stand on it, but she was too tall then, so she was kneeling on it just so she could get behind the guy. You get creative, whatever you have to do. But that's what this is, so my kids can, you put the little Nerf in there, you do the Heimlich and see how far it shoots.
That sounds like a great home evening.
Oh, if you want to borrow it, let me know. If somebody has an inhaler and they need help, sometimes they need help if it gets bad enough. I don't know if you guys have ever not been able to breathe, but there's nothing worse. And sometimes it's hard. You're shaking and you may need to do hand over hand with somebody. Shake it up really good, put it in their mouth. They'll usually hold it with you, but they're doing this while you're doing it. You'll say, okay, let out all the air. I do it with them. Now, and you know, and that's when we push down the inhaler. But I tell them too, okay, I'm gonna do it with you, I'm gonna get all the air out I can, and when I say now, I'm gonna push it down. And when that happens, leave it in their mouth as if you can, because you don't want them to instantly take a breath and lose all the medication. So if anyone uses an inhaler in here, you know, I always had a spacer with mine, which I love because the medication stays in the tube and I can just breathe after. But if they don't have one, try and get them to hold their breath. Okay, I'm gonna count to 10. Hold your breath for 10 seconds. I count to 10. And if they do this, that means hurry. So we start counting by twos and then fives. Okay, 10, you're there. So whatever you have to do. Sometimes it takes a few tries. The other thing are EpiPens, and these are getting huge. Kids at the high school, we have so many kids now that carry an EpiPen. Does anyone have an EpiPen in here? EpiPens are epinephrine. They're expensive. My son was building a tree house in my back of my property, hit a hive. We lost count at 232 stings. The rest were in his hair. So he became allergic, go figure. So we had to carry one of these. EpiPens, they don't all look exactly like this, but the mechanics of them is the same. That's the safety, the end. As soon as you pop that, when this gets hit hard enough, the needle comes out. Okay, so you're gonna hold it tight. And I ask them, okay, I'm gonna hold your knee, okay?
Okay.
It's gonna hurt, and we're gonna do it together, okay?
Okay.
When you do it, you want to go in the meaty part of the leg, okay? You've gotta make sure that your finger is not down here. My EMT became the second patient because it's too much epinephrine for your little finger. So, okay, we're gonna do on 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Count to 10 for me.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
And they'll start speeding up here.
2, 1.
You come straight out, and that's how long this will sheathe the needle. The needle will be inside that.
Did you not know it was?
She knew. She knows it's a trainer.
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, would I do that to you?
That was too real.
You can go through clothes with it.
The only thing I've had trouble with it going through is, what are they called? The coveralls that zip up the side, Carhartts. I had trouble with that. So now when they have the coveralls on, I just zip them all the way up and then we do it. I'm sorry, honey. Oh, I thought you weren't there.
No, I was like, what's Cami gonna do? I thought you were just gonna like touch my skin and then all of a sudden you like hit me and I'm like, am I in shock?
So I make them count to 10 because it gets their mind off of it. And then when I pull it straight out, because if you pull it and do this, you bend the needle inside of them and you're scraping them as you come out. So straight out, and then I make them rub it for 10 minutes. But know that if you have to use an EpiPen, they only last 10 to 15 minutes. Get them to the hospital.
Oh.
Yeah. Or we have several that if they're up the mountain, hunting is the worst. They get stung, they start coming down, the ambulance meets them. If they've used a pen, we can usually get to them by the time, intercept them, and we can start an IV and do the epi through the IV. And it just keeps them breathing.
So the EpiPen stuff in there only lasts around 15 minutes?
Mhm.
Good grief.
Yeah.
So that's
That's it.
reusable for you.
So what if you had several EpiPens? Can you keep doing that?
When you start having trouble breathing again, do it again. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeremy, he's only ever had to use 2, but he
By
was
the dozen.
he was able to get to the hospital, before. So
So
You
don't
said
just
they're
carry one, carry
expensive.
2.
they are expensive. They're coming down. When I was buying them for Jeremy, they were $700
Ah,
a pen.
good grief.
But you do it because it's your kid and you want them breathing. So, but they're not as expensive anymore. And again, never mind, we're being recorded. They have expiration dates on them. You're supposed to look at that. But if that's all I had, I would use it. And I would have no trouble if I needed one and somebody else had one, I'd use theirs. Give me your, if they start having trouble, and it can be somebody that has never had a problem in their life, suddenly they're stung by a bee, a wasp, or something, and they have trouble breathing. I can't breathe. Oh, I've got an EpiPen, give it to me. We're going, so it's up to you. I carry an IV though, so.
What other things might we want in our car just as lay people, even though all of us are cert trained here? It doesn't mean we know a lot.
No, you won't be able to buy an EpiPen.
Well, I wasn't thinking
Yeah.
of that as much.
But if somebody has it, you can help them.
Mm-hmm.
If, what else do you need in your vehicle? I sit there and think of what's in mine, but mine's different. Cause I've got the AED and the oxygen bottle and the needles and everything.
Actually, our basic cert kit, duffel bag, whatever we might have, should have most of that stuff in it.
You carry an oxygen bottle too?
No, I don't,
Oh.
no, for cert, we wouldn't, we're not trained with,
Okay, I thought, sorry.
no.
Trying to think what's in my cert bag. I haven't looked in my cert bag for so long.
Maybe we should all go look at our cert bags tonight.
And that's not a bad idea. To one of these meetings, just bring your cert bags at the beginning. If the gloves are old, I guarantee you when you go to put them on, you're gonna go right through them.
Your latex type
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. If you have masks, these even get old after a while and they don't, they get crackly. It seems like everything now either has an expiration date or a fall apart date.
We
So,
do.
I'm trying not to. What else? What have I, if you have a baby, I should have brought a baby. If they're choking, if your arm is out, you put the face down into your hand, kind of cup it so they can breathe. You don't want to cover their mouth. But, and you can do the 5 back blows.
Oh.
And,
As a
but,
Heimlich.
That's kind of the version of that for the baby. But let gravity help, so you kind of have them at an angle when you're doing it. So their head's kind of down. You're gonna do the 5 back blows, hold their head, flip them over to this arm, and do the 5 compressions. And then go back. But each time after you do the 5 back slaps, you switch them over, check their mouth to see if you can see what they're choking on. If you can see it, pull it out. If you can't, you keep doing it. You go back and forth until the ambulance gets there. So I will tell you, the hardest ones are babies or little people. I have the hardest time with those. So, or teenagers. But I think, yeah.
What other types of things have you come upon besides the car type accidents, the electrical?
We've had hunters that have fallen down the hill. Hikers have found them and they're missing a foot. Or that's when I said you go on appendage patrol. You're finding whatever they've lost. And, the only time, if they have something that, just thought of that, if they have something impaled in them, you know, I was at a track meet in St. George, and I'm sitting up in the stand and I'm watching down there, and the javelin throw was going on, and I'm watching, my son's getting ready to jump and all that, and I look over there and a javelin is flying through the air and somebody's walking across the field. And you just watch that javelin right through the shoulder. You can't take that out, but they don't fit in the rig. Thank goodness we had a shop teacher there that cut both sides and we got them in the rig. But don't ever pull anything out. If they've got a nail in them, you know, from a nail gun, if they've got, now I will tell you, if a nail gun goes off, most guys will just pull it out and just spit on it and keep going. I'm not sure. I fall apart and cry a lot. I've done one nail gun into my foot, never again. But leave it in. The only time you can pull something out is if it's in the cheek. Only because if we had to do an airway or something, and you have nothing important in this. But everywhere else, you have no clue where did they hit something big? Did they, you know, is that whatever's in there holding the bleed? Because as soon as you pull that out, they could bleed out. So don't ever pull it out. Wait until someone gets there. So if you see it and you're with somebody, a guy fell off a horse one time, put a stick right through his arm. Again, you keep them calm. You try and stabilize it the best you can. You know, if you've got to wrap something to keep it from moving, kind of zigzag it around it if you can. Most of the time, you won't get a lot of blood because whatever's there is holding bleed. So be really careful with that. If an eye has been poked out, make sure, or a nail is in the eye or a pencil or something, you cover the injured eye. Actually, you're going to cover both. Only because, but we put a cup over the injured eye and you cover this one, because anytime this eye moves, so does this one. Mm-hmm. So you want to keep them from moving. So you cover them both if you have to. But make sure it's out far enough that it's not hitting whatever's poking out. And red Solo cups are amazing for that. So, if a tooth gets knocked out, they are put it back in a bowl. I had a girl at the high school. We were playing softball against a bunch of the students, the faculty. We hit the ball. She went to catch it, and the sun was in her eyes, and that softball hit her right in the mouth. Laid those teeth down. She had just gotten her braces off the day before. she comes running up to me. I can feel my teeth. And it's like, yeah, they're up in the roof. So, but all of them are fine.
What did you do?
I put a rag in her mouth and got her straight to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
But if it comes completely out, milk is neutral. Put it in some milk and get it. We had a basketball player, the Henry.
Rich Henry?
Yeah, no, the older one.
That's Rich.
Ridge, okay. I thought it was the oldest one. Anyway, basketball, 2 teeth knocked out. Picked him up off the floor and carried him over to the coach and handed him to the coach. But, you know, we had a dentist there. He tried to put the teeth back in. One of them worked and the other one didn't. So just if you can put it in to at least hold it and keep the blood supply going, because your teeth have those nerves, you know, and that's the blood supply. So just if a finger is cut off or a toe or something, don't ever put it directly on ice. We call it a slurry. We put it in a baggie, in a like a wet, moist towel, like a wet paper towel, wrap it in that, put it in a baggie. Then the second baggie has ice with water. The water just kind of breaks it down so it's not so cold. It's cold enough, but it doesn't freeze the skin of whatever you have. So, just.
What happens if the dog eats the finger that's on the floor?
Oh, shoot.
Go get that finger stitched up and they're losing it. Because I'm not waiting for it to come out.
My father-in-law knew a guy that's.
Oh my
exactly
gosh.
They said when they got to the hospital, where's the finger? We can put it back on. No, the dog ate it.
Nothing shocks me anymore. Ever. Nothing. Nothing. What else? This is like a hurry and I feel like I've thrown a bunch of stuff at you. Trying to think of what else I've seen. I've seen a lot. I tell the kids all the time, number 1 is stay calm. Be smart. You may not know all the right answers, but if you stay calm, they stay calm, we get there as fast as we can. But just know, if you are ever worried, and I especially tell kids this, if you're ever babysitting and you're worried that the kid has done something and you don't know, get us coming. If we don't transport, there's never a bill.
Oh.
So if you're worried, just get us coming. Because I have to go from my house on 500 North, clear over to get the rig, and sometimes it's out to Indianola, sometimes it's in Moroni, sometimes I come back over here. So know that it takes time. So if you're worried, get us coming. You can call us off, you can let us get there, let us take some vitals and check things out. If it's not bad, you can sign a waiver saying, no, we don't want to go, and you don't get a bill. If it's bad, and if I look at you and say, you need to go, I won't force you to go, but I will try strongly. But if you say no, that's fine. You sign the waiver saying no, and then we don't. And you can take, somebody else can take you, but at least we've checked you and made sure that somebody else can haul your backside down there.
And you've said that sometimes you get there and somebody else brings the rig or whatever.
Yeah. I'll go straight to the scene. The one over here.
At my house?
Yeah, it was your house, wasn't it? I just drove my own truck over there and I got there first. And, my EMTs that are in Mount Pleasant, they go straight to scene and I go get the rig and I go meet them. So it just depends on where it is as to who's getting the rig and driving it, so. I try and, get there even if I'm not on call, because I wasn't that night. So, yeah. That dinner looked good too. They didn't invite me.
We homeschool families came. And one of the young men, well, he was an older man really, but he was, and I guess he just had a seizure.
Seizures, if a seizure happens, there's really nothing you can do. Just make sure they stay safe. When seizures happen, it's like taking every muscle in your body, even just tightening your arm for a second and just holding it there, you can feel it when you let it go. Their whole body does that. Their teeth, their jaw, their fingers, their toes, everything when they're having a seizure tightens up and they hold it and then they let it go. A lot of times they will have an accident after. I just put a blanket on them. Don't embarrass them. Don't. I said it about the phone, people videoing. There's so many people will drive by a car accident and film as they go by, or at the high school. I had a volleyball player backing up and stepped on a ball and snapped her ankle. And I looked up into the stands and just fast easy count, 10 cameras were out. So I had dads come down, hold up blankets, protect people if you can. Protect their privacy. You wouldn't want to be on video. I wouldn't want to be on a video, and I've made my mistakes, and there's enough video out there of me, so yeah.
You know, it's interesting. My wife, about 4 years ago, had a head-on collision out here by Indianola, and the airbag went off, and by the time I got there, my wife was sitting in the police officer's car, and I don't recall an ambulance, but so the police officer says, "Well, do you want to take her to the hospital?" And I go, "Yeah, I'll take her to the hospital." So I took her to emergency.
Did,
So I'm not
and
sure.
I'm not saying she did, but did she say I don't need an ambulance? I have a lot of people say I don't need an
Of
ambulance.
course. She said, "I don't."
I'm fine.
Yeah, but they don't
And-
know that internally and all that stuff.
But if we're told no, and police officers are the same way, if they're told no, we can't do anything about it. That's why we have to have them sign the waiver, and my parting words were always, you can call me back. I will come back in a heartbeat. And a lot of times I end up going
Just
back
thought
and
that
then
was
I
kinda
transport.
strange that I'm the one driving in a snowstorm like crazy and taking her to the hospital.
Indianola, oh my gosh, that's a death trap out there. There's so many out there. So many bad ones. We, you guys remember the accident up at Power Plant Road
Yes.
with all the teenagers? I think that was my hardest. I still have nightmares about that. That smell will never leave my nose. So, huh?
Smell?
Bunch of kids were up there. Off to the side, you know, Power Plant Road, it's got that, we call it the loop, whoop-de-whoop road.
Yeah, the roller
If you
coaster.
get going fast enough, you get that woo, and then they drop down the other side. A bunch of kids were at the top. It was on a weekend, and
Where is that? I'd like to try that.
Power Plant Road, it's
Just take the ride, you'll feel it.
second south in Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
And you just head east, and it's right before the Power Plant Park when you're going up there.
To where is that the same road that takes you
There's
up the
also
top?
like a shooting
Yeah.
range.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a shooting range up there.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the kids were up there just talking, doing what kids do. And a truck came and saw the kids. So he pulled, if the road is going up this way, he went up and he parked this way talking to the kids. He had a flatbed truck, okay? So he's parked there. The other kids were getting the speed to do the whoop-de-woo, didn't see the truck until too late and hit that flatbed instant explosion.
Oh,
Killed 3 of the kids and burned them. And I know the kids well, and I couldn't tell them apart, you know, so it was bad. But, and I was fine. I held it together. I went to the hospital. I held it together through the hospital. I got home and I think I cried for 4 days. So if you ever see anything, there are counselors out there that are amazing to work with, and they will help anybody. Just let me know. I will point you, because you never know. You never know what you're going to see on the highway. You never know. Indianola, a decapitation, those are hard to go on. And it was a kid that stopped to help that one. So you never know what you're going to see. So if you see something and it's rough.
Yeah, who did call that in? Was it just another person that's coming up?
Yeah, somebody else.
Another kid that was coming up to help?
I don't think it was a kid. I think it was another adult. But that adult didn't stop either. They just kept going. But they called it in, I guess. Find the positive, I don't know. So, you guys have anything else that like I said, I felt like I just pelted you with things.
It was amazing, thanks.
Thank you so much.
You were welcome. Thank you.